Okay, just want to say hi. Hi to y'all. So, what do you guys think I look like? What do y'all think I look like? My topic here is are you Chinese? Uh, I know some of the followers on my other channels, my my other channel, speak foreign language, which is my language, and to them it's like foreign. And even here, you guys, pro boys too. Hi, yeah, say hi to you. Good. So, are you Chinese? This is the question that I was asked. I was asked, are you Chinese? Am I looking like a Chinese? What do you guys think? You're not Chinese pro boys too? No. No, I'm just like responding to my question here, my topic. My topic is the question of, are you Chinese? So, in America, when I came here in the 80s, I was I was just 13, 14 years old. And I was from Southeast Asia. And I came straight from the mountain, the highlanders. The mountainous, the jungle of Laos. The jungle of Laos. So it's so remote. And in my world, back in the 80s, my world was just like, I didn't know there was other countries around. I only knew the surrounding, the village when I lived. Okay? Do you go to mountains areas? No, I haven't been there yet. That's in Seattle, right? That's in Washington State. Yeah, one of these days I might go there, go up there. But I was from the highlanders, mountainous areas in Laos. It is way up close to Vietnam and Laos. So in 1980, I became, yeah, because the Vietnam War, we became refugees because my people tried to help the American CIA, the secret war. Pro boys, yeah, bye. Yes, good for stopping by, okay? So, didn't know it, didn't know the as a matter of fact, I didn't know that there was black people around. Didn't know anything about Africa. And the first time I came to America in 1985, and I first saw black people, I was like, oh my, I never knew anything about this. And I knew nothing about Bruce Lee. And I was attacked in the bathroom at school, walking my way home. Some little white kids, you know, attacked me, beat me up, tried to do like karate on me. It's like crying. I didn't know any martial arts. I think back in those days there was like Karate Kids. Remember the movie Karate Kid? Marilyn Flores. Hi. Yeah, say hi to you, Marilyn. So, yeah, I was just a little Asian boy came all the way from the mountain of Laos. Refugee, trekking through 3 months through the jungle, hiding from the communists, hiding from the Red Patelao soldiers, crossing the Mekong River in the jungles. My parents were shot down, was killed during the ambush, and washed out, sank down the Mekong River. And as a little boy, I ended up in the other side of the Mekong River in Thailand with a whole bunch of other people in the group. And I was shipped like animals into a police station, tied up. Everybody was tied up, and then starving for 3 4 days, no food. Uh, Along the way, we had to eat like night crawlers, anything fruit, plants that we found along the way, tree barks. For 3 months, we trekked down the mountain, terrible terrains, you know, insect, mosquito bites everywhere. And we got to, you know, then we came to live in the camp, refugee camp, the slum, for almost 2 years. No, very little food. We only ate like one times a day from the donation from United Nations, uh, Christian societies, Christian organizations. So yeah, but then I came to America and was labeled as Chinese. Man, I got the name, you fucking chink. Go back to your rice paddy, you gook, you oriental, whatever. These are the name I got. And then they make faces like this because they always, sometimes they don't, sometimes they harass you in school. They don't say anything, but they do a face like this. So I don't know what that is. I think they're like Japanese or Chinese. Your fire? What's that? Me fire, floor, Marin Forest? What does that mean? Are you talking to somebody else? So, are you Chinese? No, I am not Chinese. Yeah, I am. I fight? Yes, I do. I do fight. So I do not fight those kids back then. I do not fight because I didn't know any martial art. I do not know Bruce Lee. I do not know Chuck Norris. Yes. But the Chinese are already here back in them. Chinese were already here in 1800s building the railroads. And Bruce Lee already famous in 1970, right? Died in 1976. So a lot of, because the Bruce Lee movies, Chuck Norris and them in the fight, these white kids always taunted me as a Chinese or the Japanese. And they also knew about the Vietnamese, the Japanese, the Chinese, but then they label everybody that look like Chinese as Chinese. You see, so we as kid from the mountain area, Laos. I mean, we came straight from the bush, like bush people. We're chasing animal, half naked in the forest, like the tribes, and some of them don't even have clothes to wear, bare feet, spear, hoo 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 hoo. We're like the Lord of the Flies. You ever see the movie or read the book, The Lord of the Fly, Lord of the Flies, where a whole bunch of little kids were left abandoned in the island and they had to go hunt, wild pigs and animals for food. And then I don't know what happened to their parents, but that book, That book was so hard when I was in English class, my English class back in the days. And I think we read Mice to Man. You know, Mice to Man is just like that Tom Cruise movie where he has a brother that's kind of a little mental, and he had to take him to fly to Los Angeles, and he didn't want to fly, so Tom Cruise had to put him in a convertible, drive all the way across the country to bring his brother down there. Mice to Man, right? So yeah, I am not Chinese, but I was labeled as a Chinese. Uh, Not in documentation, but in people's perspective back in the days, like by this what they see. So that's why you get harassed, you get discriminated, you get beat up in school. So the first year, the second year, I was going to this school right in Southern California, right? You guys know Bakersfield, Bakersfield. In that area, I was put in there in a school over there, and I was the only Asian person, Asian student that goes there. There was a Japanese, there was a Chinese, it's a girl, it's a woman, it's a young lady, uh, in like ninth grade, 10th grade. She was Chinese. She was Chinese. In that area, there was a Chinese uh, grocery store. So she was a daughter of that family, and she went to the same high school I went. And there was only one black student. He was a black boy, and I was the second Asian person, a boy, goes to that school. We went to that school, and everybody else, I think, was like 95% or Latino students. Uh, then the rest were like white kids. And every day in my life, in those 2 years, every day in my life, I was harassed, I was bullied, always a fight. Even during the recess, baseball, we have a class that we go play sport outside, baseball, flag, football was was always being pushed around, fight. That's why I learned how to fight, defending myself. Yes, but then I was 2 years in my life. I was enduring that kind of torture in America because the Chinese were here before us, because the Japanese, you know, war, World War II, because the Vietnamese war with in the Vietnam War with the Americans, America. So majority, only the government knows. The government knew who we were, but like the yeah population, the regular people, the civilians, people in America, they know nothing about us. And even today, if you mention the country Laos, some American don't know who they are, don't know what Laos is, and they don't know who we are either. You tell them who you are, they still are. They still think we're like Chinese. It's just like I had gone fishing in the past. So I went to this lake. It's kind of like remote, and it's like far away, like 2 hours from where our community lives. So it's like 2 hours away. One time I went fishing there, and I was sitting fishing, and this Caucasian white guy, he's white, he's in the like retiree. I think he had a stroke, so half of his size paralyzed, and he was fishing on the shore, and I went there and I was fishing. In about 30 minutes, I had caught my limit, crappies, and I used this black shad plastic bait fishing. And I before I left, I told him, sir, I haven't seen you caught any fish. Do you want any of my bait? I can just give you a bait and you can catch some fish. So then we end up talking, conversation. And he's like, what nationality are you? I was like, well, what ethnic? You mean what ethnic of people I am? He said, yes. And I told him, I am a person with no nation because our people never had a country. We did have a country back a long time ago in China, but the King Dynasty came to power and they turned the seven countries into one big China. So then we became minorities. We never have any country since. We're the one that always being exterminated, and so we fled the country and we from one country to another. And because the CIA and American got involved in Vietnam, and we end up in America. You know, so that's who I am. We're like gypsies, people that had no country. We're like a prostitute with no husband, no. Okay, so we're talking. This old man who's like, so do you know that the neighborhood around this lake, the residents here always complain that you Vietnamese come here fishing almost every day, and then you take a lot of fish out of this lake, and they don't like you guys. They say that you guys are like rats and take all the fish out of the lake. So my response to that old dude was like, okay, so just to clarify, we're not Vietnamese. We're the Hmong people, and yes, everybody has the right to take the fish because they pay taxes. They bought their fishing license, their gear, their base, their fishing license. So this lake is a public lake. It doesn't belong to the residents. So then they have the right to come fishing as long as they follow the rule, get the limits, and then go. But yeah, plenty of them. And my people, they love to eat fish, so they don't fish and release. They fish and they take them home and cook and share with the families. Because back in the country, the mountains, they did not have, all sorts of meat. The only meat they have is fish. For like chicken, bigger animal like ox, cows, buffaloes, whatever, pigs, they will only raise these big animals to sell for money, for the market. So they really didn't have much to eat, and the only source of meat they had was just fish. So you saw them come here, and they took a lot of fish because yes, they love to eat fish. So anyway, we're not Vietnamese, and it was surprise to the old man. He was surprised that how come these people here do not know that we're Hmong people, and they thought we were Vietnamese. And there's somebody said we're Chinese. So, I told him the whole story. He's like, oh, okay. So I gave him a bait. I showed him how to fish. In about 10, 20 minutes, he got his 10 fish because the crappie limit in that lake was 10 fish per day. So I took off, Gave the old guy a little lesson about how we got here, who we are, what nationality or what ethnic group of people we are. So he's like, okay, so yeah. But that was something that you could be easily being labeled as Chinese or Japanese and Vietnamese because these are the people that they had gone to war with America. So us, Hmong people or Mongolians, we never have any, we are not the enemy to the U.S. Those that came here were refugees because American interests. They went to Southeast Asia. They started this Vietnam War and misplaced a lot of people, and a lot of our people die for no reason. And we didn't know how to kill people. And then American would hand out the weapons to us, taught us how to be guerrilla soldiers, how to fight, how to kill. And then now we become murderers, killers, refugees, run away, came to the U.S., become gangsters, drug dealers, whatever, you know. But the question is, are you Chinese? No, I am not Chinese. A lot of you ask, are you Chinese? No, I am not Chinese. Okay? We don't speak the same language. We might look alike. Maybe the bloodline has been mixed. Okay, because the Genghis Khan era, 1200 BC, right? Uh, yeah, that changed the whole ethnicity in Asia. So then everyone, and you guys know that Genghis Khan still had about 16 million dissidents that are living today. So yeah, I might have bloodline of the Genghis Khan bloodline, and you can see my face structure. Got wide, big, wider face like Genghis Khan. But anyway, we're not Chinese, so we're Asian people. We can tell who is Vietnamese, who is Chinese, and who's Japanese, and we can tell by the language, and we can tell who is Thai, Laotian, Myanmar, all the Southeast Asian countries. You know, we can easily recognize by visualize seeing them and then listening to their language. And even the clothes they dress, the food they eat. So you can recognize people by the food they eat, the clothes they wear, the language they speak, and the way they act. Okay? And you can tell that's a Chinese person, that's a Vietnamese, that's Japanese, that's Thai, that's Laotian, that's Hmong, that's Mongolian, Mongols, that's Filipino, that's Indonesian, that's Malaysian, and that's Hinduism, that's Indians. So only Asian people will recognize that, but to the European, to the Americans that never been to Asia, never experience or sit down and learn about these people, yeah, it's a thing that they automatically label you as Japanese or Chinese. Okay, it's because the Japanese World War II, because the Chinese came here to build the railroads, because Bruce Lee movies, because the Vietnam War. So we're labeled as those people. All right. And as I understand, Oriental is like the Japanese. Okay. Asian is more like uh, Southeast Asia. Chinese are not Asian. Chinese are Chinese. Southeast Asia, like Asian. We're Asian. So yes, I can label myself as Asian, but then we go to specifically ethnic city, ethnicity. I am not Chinese. I'm not Vietnamese. I am not Japanese. I came from Laos, but I am not Laotian. And I can speak the language, know their culture, but I am not. So yes. So anyway, just try to explain to you guys that a lot of you might think that I am Chinese. But yeah, very dangerous in America. Even like during the COVID-19, some of my people will be labeled as Chinese and they're beat up while walking on the street. Going shopping, they're labeled as Chinese. And we even got the name of the Chinese disease. What is it? The Chinese. When Donald Trump said the Chinese, what is it? The Chinese. Forgot what he's called. The Chinese, whatever. Help me out, guys. Help me out. Uh, so, but you guys, I'm proud to be who I am. Sometimes when people approach me and label me as Chinese, I tell them directly that I am not Chinese. So don't get me wrong. Do I speak Chinese? No. Does my language sound like Chinese? No. So then you have to, if no, then you have to go do your research to make sure that I'm Chinese before you call me Chinese or Japanese or not. I had nothing to do with you in the past. So yeah. So what about you guys? You ever got you being called on this label you as this particular group of people? So I would say, my bloodline is more like related to Korean people. Okay, Korean. It's because the Korean peninsula, like the island, the Korean, they also came from the Far East. So I could relate it to my people all the way to Siberia, like northwest, northeast, northeast China. That territory that it's China, the land belong. Like Russia took the land from China. You can go like north of Japan, go to east coast of Russia. Those people. Okay. Yes, that's my. I believe my origination, ancestry is from there, and even the Korean people are kind of like from there. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, nothing much on this video, just 30 minutes. I'm just kind of want to respond to some of your question like a couple days ago. Are you Chinese? And my two other channel, some of you guys came over there and labeled me as, am I Chinese? So I am not Chinese, okay? And we might look the same Asian people because the migration for a long period of time. We have came out of China because our country were taken over by the Chinese, and then we had no place to live, so we were like a gypsy, traveled to another foreign land, and we became part of their land. And then we get out of there and go to another land because of the British and the French. Okay, in Southeast Asia, because the British, the French, because their colonization uh, idea or era, they had changed a whole spectrum of ethnicity in Asia. So yeah. So before you call somebody Chinese, make sure it's for real, okay? If I don't ride the dragon, I don't believe the dragon, I don't worship the dragon, I am not Chinese, okay? All right, guys. This is all I have today, and appreciate it. We'll see you in the next stream or live, okay? Good night to y'all.